When you think of a strong father figure, who comes to mind?
My dad. I have a deep respect for my father. In his late 30s, he had to start all over from ground zero with 3 kids. At the time, I didn't realize it because when I was young, I thought we were rich. Like, there was nothing I ever asked for that I didn't get. Maybe a pair of Jordans. It really warms my heart knowing I have the kind of father that I have. And as my parents are getting older now, my dad especially, it makes me appreciate him that much more. My brother and I, we both model a lot of how we execute after my dad.
To me, growing up, even still to this day, my Uncle Kevin is like a superhero to me. Not just for me, for every single young man that was around me growing up. Like, he cut my hair, he told me how to dress, told me how to speak. I hold that in such a high regard because it wasn't something that he had to do, but he did it. I can't say I didn't feel the void of not having a male figure, but it was definitely filled in certain regards through him.
Nah, Thogbe, my dad, my pops, he's the reason I read books. He's the reason why I never feel like I'm as smart as I should be. He's the reason why I feel like I'm always thinking I should go and get a master's, get my doctorate or something. My dad has had so many career shifts, and I've seen dreams deferred. I've seen him reconfigure his career at 50. I've seen him do the impossible with my family, but I've also seen him be a stay-at-home dad while my mom worked. And I've seen their dynamic not change between who was going to work and who was at home while my dad was pursuing his academics. No matter how many doubles both of them worked, I always felt like they were present. But they also fostered a sense of independence because, you know, like most African parents, he doesn't emote, but he's taught me how to see when he's proud of me.
My grandfather was such a man. In Indiana, in the Midwest, where my family is from, if I tell somebody my last name Taylor, that means something because of the legacy that he put down. You know what I mean? Business owner, great business acumen, great father to 5 boys, great husband to my beautiful grandmother who's still alive right now. If I get anywhere close to being like him, then I know that I did this life thing the right way. And then my father, of course, my dad is the most beautiful man that I know. Emotional intelligence, filled with honor, filled with integrity. He cries when he's sad, he cries when he's happy. My dad raised me saying, understand that a man's name is more precious than gold. Secrets is the same as lying. And I forgot the other one he'd be saying all the time. But yeah, shout out to the men in the family for sure.
My pastor, Pastor A.L. Bernard, he is one of the few examples I have for somebody I'm looking at to exemplify a father figure, whether that's for his own children or for his community at large. So he's the first person that comes to mind with that.
Man, I have like 9 uncles. Seeing my uncles every week, seeing them with their families and their wives and their kids, kind of drilled in my head how I'm supposed to be as a man, you know, and how I'm supposed to be as a father. So although I didn't actually meet my father till I was like 21, it didn't feel like I missed out on anything. You know, like I was not one of those kids that was like, yo, where's my dad? Like, where's my dad? To a degree, I had like 9 dads, if that makes sense, you know? When I think of strong fathers and, you know, black fathers, I think about my uncles and myself now, you know?
My father, you know, my grandfather, you know, those men were amazing. My father is still with us. I think a lot of times we worry too much about flaws, right? Everybody's flawed. But in terms of what that man has imparted on me, imparted to me his knowledge, the wisdom, what he's taught me in terms of how to be a responsible person, how to be a man of my word, because I've faltered. There are times where, you know, I've broken my word. Every time you make mistakes along the way and you hurt someone or you do something that unwillingly or unknowingly hurts someone, that thing called karma is real. And my father has taught me how important it is to keep your word, how important it is to be responsible, how important it is to have ambition, to have drive, to have purpose, manifestation, how important it is to be clear about what it is that you want and how setting that clear intention can lead you to accomplish whatever goals or objectives you're working towards.
The older bros that are in my chapter are the closest thing to me of fatherhood that I've ever seen. I have so many examples, so many good examples. Being able to see that and to witness it in real time and to also experience it has been such a blessing. Growing up without a father, Of course, there are other people that I've interacted with. My own personal brother, like, but it's a difference when, maybe because they're not, necessarily family or blood, but seeing them interact with their children and how they're able to solve conflict and to get, go through the motions has been a beautiful thing. So a huge shout out to them for gracing me with the opportunity to witness their love in real time.
My uncle, he was my father figure, and my godfather was like my father figure. I saw them as the figures that was there to hold my mom down when needed be, or they hold their spouses or girlfriends down. And I saw that and was like, okay, cool. My uncle was the one who would like come to my graduations or stuff like that. But that's because him and my mother were like best friends. So he made sure that his little sister was good and that her son was good.
I would say my brother is a person who has a lot of children, and it doesn't matter how many children he has, he makes sure that they're well taken care of. And I'm not just talking about visiting them or just giving them gifts, but actually emotionally taking care of them, making sure that they are great, making sure that they are well set off. I think that he is a person who I aspire to be when it comes to the father figure outlook. And yeah, I think that he is someone who is definitely a person who I would look up to or will give his flowers as being a father.
Father figures to me can be, a lot of different people, because I got several. I mean, obviously my dad is a father figure for me, but also like I've had several coaches and several mentors throughout my life who are father figures to me. Just the other day, I was hanging out with one of my best friends, and he's a dad, and it was him and it was his wife, and we were chatting it up, and I was like, wow, he's really a dad. Like, he's a father figure. I think being a dad, being a father is very much a sense of like responsibility and power. And what Uncle Ben said, with great power comes great responsibility. Like, I used to think that fatherhood was very much a disciplinarian only. I thought fathers were only ever like, condescending, patronizing even. And I think I recognized that being a father is about being empathetic. It's about being a listener. As much as it is at times maybe, here and there having to be a disciplinarian and being assertive, And I think that level of learning happened because of just my own level of maturity, but also my relationship with father figures growing and evolving over time. They're not just the people who, come to your games and, give you a whooping and, say good job. They also the people who, hold your hand and give you a kiss on the forehead and tell you they love you.